Good evening. This is Kathy Schreckenthaler of Kathy's Creative Impressions. And tonight I'm bringing to you my Holiday Happiness Cards to Go class. It is my last Cards to Go class of the year, and I'm super excited to share it. We are going to be making 10 cards that the kits went out in the mail, and then I'm going to be demonstrating how to make 4 additional cards basically at one time. I'm going to be demonstrating a technique that shows how you can use stamps, ink, and paper and make 4 cards very quickly. So we'll be using the Traditions of Christmas suite and the Modern Christmas suite and the Peaceful Garden suite. So some of this year's Stampin' Up's new suites that were featured in the fall catalog and the online exclusives. So we're going to wait just a few minutes for some people to join. One of the cards, one of the sets I was not able to use, excuse me, in our class tonight, which I really adore, I just want to share, and that is the Gingerbread Man bundle. So I have a couple of cards here. These would have required stamping, and so in order to do it in this class, I would have had to have the participants order the bundle and have it on hand so that they could stamp this adorable gingerbread man. But I was lucky enough to gather with my sister and dear friend Caroline, my sister Lisa, for our 3rd annual Christmas Crafting Sisters Best Friends weekend, and we made this little guy. Isn't he cute? So we stamped and embossed, stamped in Versamark and then embossed in white embossing, the gingerbread boy, and then cut out his cute little hat and scarf and mug, and the little speech bubble came with it, and the stamp set has the oh snap, so we had to snap off his little foot, yummy yummy cookie, and then we put baking spirit Sprite on the inside, and then we made this fun card. So the dies are quite large, and it includes double of the adorable gingerbread man. And so this card has a card base. Oh, there's extra pieces left over, so I can make some more cards. So it is a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch piece of cardstock with the Peaceful Garden Designer Series paper, and then this cute little guy opens up, and it says, "Season's Eatings, may your holiday season be filled with joy and happiness." And then the little peppermints and the candy canes are also part of the set. So that one was a lot of fun. And then these cute little embellishments, I'll reach over here, I've got them. They are the Delightful Decorative Dots, and they were in the catalog near this guy, and I thought, oh, those look like gumdrops. I think I have to have those for my little gingerbread guy. But he also pairs really, really well with those little peppermint embellishments that were hugely popular last year and are still available. At least they were last time I checked. So the Delightful Decorative Dots are a great option, or the, let's see if I can reach down in my drawer and find those. Actually, I think I have them all in. I have them in the little craft box that I had these in. So yeah, I got some more of them recently because who doesn't need these adorable peppermints? They are still available. The Real Red and White Peppermints, they are called, and they are number 164050. So when you are, oh, Patty is watching. Patty Hines is with us tonight. So say hi, Patty, in the comments. Welcome. So glad you could make it. I know at least one person is still on the road traveling tonight and is going to have to catch the replay, but I'm hoping a few more people will be popping on tonight. So, Patty, were you able to find, hi, were you able to find the email that had all the supplies listed? I hope you found it. I have to get my comments up here on my computer. Great. So I will try to keep an eye on that, but I sent out yesterday an email. Welcome. Say hi when you're here. Looks like Linda's popped in. I shared in case you guys weren't here, I shared 2 of the adorable gingerbread man. Yeah. From this gingerbread man is 165784. It is an adorable bundle, and I had some fun making those cards with his little oh snap cookie leg ready to nibble, and then this one has the double the die cuts out 2 of them, kind of like paper dolls, but makes a fun little shape card. Another set that I was able to use with a friend, I got together with Chris Smith. I think she is Ink Pad. And she had the snowflake. I don't have this set. So I don't remember if it's Snowflake Kisses, what it is, but it has this die just cuts out the snowflakes. It doesn't cut out the outside. And then there are 3 separate snowflake dies. So we did that one. And then this one I used a Memory and More striped card and the pretty embossing folder on the 2-toned cardstock that you can sand. So you see the white core on the inside. And then this pretty ribbon. Isn't that gorgeous? So that was a fun set I did not have, but I got to get together with a friend. And then it also has this big background die and this circle die with the stamp set bundle. And this is the 2-toned. You can see how different the other side. This is, I think, Secret C 2-toned cardstock, and you can see how light it is on the inside. And here is one more. The first gingerbread boy I made, I put his fun little candy cane and peppermint so far out it wasn't going to fit on a A2 sized card. So I built him right on a 5x7 card. I have to finish the inside of that one, but isn't he adorable? There's a little hat and scarf and candies. All right, looks like we have a couple other projects while we're waiting for everybody that I was able to make with Lisa and Caroline. They made these beautiful ornaments for the people they work with, and they made one for me and signed it and dated it to commemorate our fun 3rd annual get-together. This is the Snowflake Pines paper, and that one they did a little bit of work, and then they made these adorable little Santa's. It's a holiday gift list, and it's a sticky note pad. So how fun to give that to a friend who's keeping track of their Christmas lists. So we used some retired paper from last year and whipped these up and then put those cute little shopping lists inside. Isn't that neat? So all of the things I just showed you, we are not making tonight, but I have made for the holidays. So some of you have already gotten your new mini catalog, those of you who are demonstrators. If you are a new demonstrator, I'd like you to know that you get a free catalog when you place your first order. You can pre-order now, and as a demonstrator, you get to order early from this catalog. At the top of your screen, if you haven't placed an order yet, there is a box that pops up that says, yes, I want my free catalog, and you have to check the box to claim it. So this is the January to April mini catalog. I already have my little pre-order over here, and I'm gonna start making some stuff with that. Actually, a little later at the end of class, we're gonna do a fun technique, and right before I started the live, I was doing a little stamping with one of those sets to kind of show you how that can work. So I'm wondering if we might be ready to start. Michelle is stopping in to watch tonight. I really appreciate you, Michelle. That is so fun. And looks like Linda's ready and Patty's here. I don't know how many others will be joining us, but I guess I'm going to get started and hope they catch the replay. So I had asked if everybody got the email with the supply list. I had each project listed out and the supplies that I would be using and the supplies that I suggested that you have. So maybe pop in the comments if you did get to see that. And I'm going to do a little finagling. I'm going to see if I was hoping I could still turn my camera around once I started. Oy, oy, oy. Now I don't see the camera button to reverse it. Oh yeah, I do. All right, so what I'm gonna do so that all the writing isn't backwards is I wanted to reverse my camera and turn you down to the workspace. So we are going to be starting with the kit that is a trio of cards. These other things off to the side. So you will have 3 white envelopes, and it has the Traditions of Christmas paper in the front one. There's 3 sheets, and we are going to use our trimmer for this project. So you will need your Stampin' trimmer and those 3 card kits to start with, and your adhesives, Stampin' dimensionals, and everything that is in the card kits. So maybe give me a thumbs up when you are ready, and I will turn the camera down. And I think I've got my glue dots. I'm gonna grab some more Stampin' dimensionals because I know I'm almost at the end of a sheet. So I want to make sure I have those on hand, and I'm going to grab my trimmer out of the drawer. All right. Are we ready? I hope. Trimmer. All right. So put that off to the side, and I am going to flip my camera and turn you down and see if I can get it centered halfway decent. Facebook Live does not make this easy these days. All right, so I'm going to give it just a minute here to catch up on my computer so I can see how much of the desk is showing, and if, oh, okay, do not want to do that. All right, try again. You didn't want to see my ceiling and my lights, my pretty picture. Okay, ta-da! That looks like it will work pretty well. Tighten everything up there. All right, let me know if I need to zoom out more. I can lift it up a little bit, but I do like to be a little bit zoomed in so that you can see things better. And let me know how the volume is. I'm hoping that you can hear me well. Let me know if not, please. All right, so we are going to start by taking the first 3 sheets of designer series paper, and these measure 5 by 3 3/4, and we're going to stack them up. And what we're going to do is, this is called the stack, so we're stacking them. Took 3 different patterns that I thought would go together on a card front, and if you like the other side better, you know, you can play around and see what you like the best. Looks like I've got 2 of these and 1 of these. I'm going to go with these. I'm going to stack them up, and now I'm going to slice them, and then I'm going to shuffle them. Okay, so we're going to have them lined up as best we can, and we're going to put them in the trimmer with the top right corner right in the groove where the cutting blade goes. And then we're going to align, and this doesn't have to be a perfect art, you know, so somewhere about the middle, and it can be lower or higher. So I have the bottom edge, the opposite edge, right along the outside of the trimmer, and that might be a good way to line it up with the top right corner right in the cutting groove and the bottom left corner right along the edge of your trimmer if you have a Stampin' trimmer. Now I'm going to lift this blade up, and I'm going to put it down in the middle, and I'm going to go up, and then I'm gently going to come back this way and cut the rest of the way. And the reason I did that is I didn't want to catch that pointy little corner and tear it. So I started in the middle and pushed up and then went back down the other way. Okay, so we've got this little slice off. I'm going to move that aside. And then I'm going to take it and turn it to the right and line up that point where we just cut it off in the top of the cutting groove, and the bottom point, bottom right. So the middle where we just cut off is going to be on top, and the bottom right is going to be on the bottom. Again, I'm not going to start right at the edge because I don't want that to tear. So I'm going to go in a little ways, and then you've got 3 pieces. Okay, so here's what we end up with. Now I'm going to make sure everybody has that done before we get the card bases out and start shuffling them. So we stacked them, we sliced them, and now I'm going to move them to the side a little bit, and I'm going to get my card bases out for my 3 different cards. Actually, it's the mats, not the bases. The card bases are white, and I chose 3 different mats that all are colors found in this designer series paper. So the colors I chose are Secret Sea, Old Olive, and Bubble Bath. And then I'm going to leave all the other goodies in here for a minute and set that aside. Now we're going to make 3 cards at once because we have 3 layers of this designer series paper. So we've got the top one, the middle one, and the bottom one. And 3 identical sized pieces that were cut off the top left. Okay, now we're going to take the next one and we're not going to match that up. We're going to mix them up. So the top one might go on the second one. The middle one might go on the right. The bottom one might go way on the left. Okay, now you have to look and see which one you don't have on each card. This one's going to have to go over here, and this one will go here. Now, if you don't like the way those turned out, maybe you want this middle over here. Just make sure you don't turn them. Okay, the first way you put them down might be perfect. That might be the one you like the best. You might not want to mess with it after that, but as long as you don't turn those little triangles any weird ways so you lose track of how they were cut, you should be able to mix and match until you like what you have. At that point, okay, and I cut them so that when we glue them down, all the edges are actually going to be touching. There's not going to be any of the mat showing through. Okay, so they will be like this. And then they'll be about 1/8 of an inch around the outside. And they should, since they were cut together, they should fit pretty well together. All right, so I kind of like how that looks. I'm going to go with that. I'm going to get out my adhesive. Now I'm using my Tombow multi-purpose liquid glue, but I fill these little teeny bottles that I got off of Amazon that have a smaller tip, so I don't get as much glue. And that way I can do little detailed pieces and I don't have it smooshing out all over or all over my hands. So before that gets too dry, I want to see if that's about where I want it. Okay, so just start carefully gluing the 3 pieces down on each card. Make sure you keep track of which way you turned it when you pick it up so that they do fit together. And this again is called the stack, slice, and shuffle, or stack, cut, and shuffle technique. And when you have beautiful paper like this, especially the specialty paper with the foil accents, you don't need a lot on a card other than this beautiful paper. It just is the star of the show. So these are cards that you can make 3 at a time. So they come together quickly. All you have to do is cut the 3 3/4 by 5 inch mats. And I'm going to give you the measurements of the designer series paper before we stack it and slice it in just a minute. Let me get this glued down and I'll get my ruler out and tell you how big I cut those 3 pieces for each of your kits. Okay, so those are coming together nicely. All right, so the designer series paper is 3 pieces that are 3 3/4 by 5. So I must have been wrong on these mats are actually 4 by 5 1/4. All right, so the designer paper is 3 3/4 by 4, and the mat is 4 by 5 1/4, and those are all on your directions for those of you who ordered the class and got the kits in the mail. In your email, your supply list, I do believe, lists all of the sizes so that you can kind of have that as a tutorial to create more cards with what you have at home. You don't have to have this designer series paper. You can use whatever you want. It's a great way to make pretty cards in. I wanted to do this class as kind of a stamp a stack where you were making multiple cards in short order, because that's kind of what the holidays require, isn't it? And you have a lot of friends you want to send a pretty paper hug to cheer their holidays. You want designs that are going to be easy to make in bulk. All right. I don't think I've gotten any new questions. Please let me know how you're doing. Am I moving too quickly? Let me know, because I'm going to pull out, put my trimmer away for now. I have a little IKEA desk and has drawers to the right and left, which are super convenient for holding my blocks and my adhesives and ribbons, and my trimmer goes right in the second drawer. All right, so now we have these 3 kits, and we can empty them out one at a time. I did mention that so I always hold this up to the light to make sure I got all the little embellishments out. But at this point, you're going to want a stamp set for the sentiment. And I do have a variety of shapes in here. So I don't know if I did this for you. I have 3 different shapes for 3 different cards, which is kind of fun. All right, I'm going to pull out my Secret C, because that is a nice dark color that is in this paper. And I'm going to pull out a piece of scrap paper just so I don't get my desktop dirty. And I am going to use find them here. Christmas greenery, here it is. The traditional labels. So this is one of the sets that I can use. Not sure if the Merry Christmas will fit on here. Another set that I used a lot this year is the Holly Jolly set, and this one had some that fit nicely on smaller labels. So there is a Merry Christmas, and there's a Bright and Happy Christmas Wishes, Holly and Jolly. So I think I'm gonna pull out the Bright and Happy Christmas Wishes and the Merry Christmas. See if those fit. All right, looks like Merry Christmas will fit on this one. And for those of you who are new to Stampin' Up, hopefully you bought at least one sentiment set this Christmas that you can be using right now. For those of you who have been in Stampin' Up! For a while, I'm sure you have some beautiful sentiments from this year and the past. Okay, I'm going to pull out my block. I'm going to put that Merry and Christmas on there together and hope that works. And I think for this pink one, I'm going to use the real red. And for the other two, I'll use the Secret C. All right, so let's see how this goes. I know it's kind of, I'm going to do it on here first because you only have one label in your kit, right? All right, we're going to go for it. Merry Christmas. There we go. Put that one on the pink one. Clean this one off quick. Stamp and scrub. All right, and then we're going to do the bright and happy Christmas wishes. And we're going to do that in the Secret C. On this pool party. I thought the pool party looked kind of pretty on this, the darker, the one that's mostly Secret C. And this ink should be dark enough also. This sentiment, this little banner, I got a lot of ink on there. I'm going to wipe that off with a paper towel before I clean it, or my Stampin' Scrub is going to be a blue blizzard. Don't want that. All right, so we're going to have two bright and happy. This is the sign design punch. Oh, I was going to try to maybe do this bright, Merry and bright. All right. Wonder if this might be a mistake. But this does have this pretty little border on it. Let me see if I can add that. Before I put ink on it, I'm going to see what it looks like. I'm afraid that's going to cover up some of the words, so I am going to leave that off. But I could do another one and try things a little different. I could do the Merry and Bright, or just the Merry Christmas. All right, we'll put that back in the Jolly Holly. Don't want to lose anything. I'm going to close up my inks so we can build our cards. Now you also have ribbon and the card bases. So next, we're going to take each card and we're going to take that pretty red ribbon and turn the label over. And this, for this, I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal, and I'm going to put some of that on the back so that, oops, I can just do kind of a faux bow on the back here. That's kind of pretty, right? And then I'm going to take my Stampin' Dimensionals. Like I said, I'm at the end of a sheet here, so I'm just going to chop up the border because I don't know why I wouldn't use those. They are also Stampin' Dimensionals. We're just going to put some of those both on the ribbon and the cardstock, which will help to keep that ribbon in place also and pop it up on the front of the card. Okay, so we're going to bring that in, and I'm going to put it kind of over here where everything comes together. And then clean up my, oh, how did I get red ink off the edge of this? All right, just want to see if, since this is water-based ink, and I have a white cover, I'll have to get some soap and water on that and see if I can clean that up later. Okay, guess I needed a little bit bigger piece of scrap paper. You know, this is how crafting goes. All right, I'm gonna grab my bone folder and burnish the edge on that fold on the card base. And then, because things have been, I have my little have my little mailing thing to see if cards fit through the automated post office machines these days. And so I normally would put dimensionals on the back of this layer too, but I'm getting a little more conservative with how many layers I put, so that they fit without adding extra postage. So I'm going to glue this right to the front, leaving about 1/8 of an inch on all 4 sides. And isn't that coming together pretty? And then I'm going to use my take your pick tool and grab these little pretty little traditional sparkle sequins, and I'm gonna just place those. Do this one over here. All right, 1, 2, 3. All right, we have one of our 3 cards done. So I'm gonna move that one aside, and we're gonna take the next one, the next kit. We're gonna do the same thing. So we're going to burnish the card. I'm going to put the ribbon on the back of that label. Boom, you can see once you get in the groove here, it's going to come together pretty quick. You got all 3 of them already cut out and glued, so that is kind of nice. And they don't take long to make. All right, so again, we're going to turn over the label, put a little adhesive on it, and then kind of layer my bow. This one seems a little bit longer ribbon. I can make this one a little longer. All right, how we doing, ladies? Hopefully your cards are coming together all right. Let me know if I need to slow down or if you have any questions about how it's going. All right. We're going to bring in card number 2. I made the label the same color as the mat. I'm going to line that up on the edge again where they all come together. And then this time I've got, so those traditional sparkling sequins, I don't have too many left. I should have ordered multiple packs of these. But I tried to put different colors. Whatever I thought kind of would look good, so I used the green ones in this on this card. Let's see. We're going to go off of the label this time. So we'll do here and here. And then the third one. Be down here. Alrighty. You know, it's not an exact arch, right? You just gotta kind of see what you like. All right, so that is 2. And our third one. Oops, my ribbon slipped out. And somewhere in here should be my somewhere. Up. Here they are. These guys got some iridescent pretty sequins. So I may have mixed things up a little bit. I think that'll work well since I used the darkest pattern was the biggest pattern on this one. So that worked out well. Okay. Burnish the card base. Oh, we can even use the Stampin' Seal to adhere this to. It doesn't have to be liquid glue. Everybody has different favorites when it comes to what kind of adhesive they prefer to use. Some people just do not like messing with the liquid glue because they say it gets all over their hands. I have kind of over the years learned how to work with it without ending up with it all over. And I think those little fine tip glue bottles have helped quite a bit. So, all right, we're just gonna kind of put several dimensionals on the back, pop that up right about there, and then boom, 1, 2, maybe this will be the eye. Nah, we'll go down here. All right, so here we have our first project for tonight. We have, oh, bring my envelope in. We have a bright and happy Christmas wishes in Pool Party and Old Olive, and then a Merry Christmas. Oh, and I apologize. I thought I had this all figured out so that the writing wasn't going to be backwards, but foiled again. So sorry. All right. Here is, let's see. Huh. I was looking for the cards I made ahead of time. Oh, here they are. All right, so here is the set that I made. Boy, now they're upside down too. Goodness sakes. I'm just failing miserably here. All right, so here's the 3 that we made tonight with the envelopes. And here are the 3 I made ahead of time. Used the traditional labels for the Sending Love and Joy. And then we had stamped a bunch of these when we made those pretty shopping lists. So I had some of these left over, already punched out, so I popped those on those cards. So, and you can see I folded my bows just slightly different, but I used the same traditional sparkling sequins for both. All right, so that is our first project. I am going to pop those out of the way and bring in our second project. And that is going to be, I believe, card number 2 on your list was the Pool Party envelopes. They have Pool Party bases, and This card, I used the traditional wreath 3D embossing folder, and I pre-embossed that for you. And then because I wasn't sure if you would have a stamp set, I used the dies from the Words for the Season dies, and there is a Merry and a Christmas in here, so I have those already pre-cut and in your card kit. But this is a beautiful set if you're looking for something to add to your collection. Words for the Season bundle, and it has New Year's and autumn, and it had Halloween event, and so the sayings are for Christmas and Thanksgiving, a grateful one, and another Christmas, New Year's, let's toast to yesterday's achievements and tomorrow's bright future. It even had have a spooktacular Halloween. So I just thought this would be a fabulous set to have. And then we're using one of the labels from the traditional labels, and it's on my die cutting machine, but it's the largest one from here. And I have the number of that in your instructions also. So I don't think this card required any stamping because I made the Merry Christmas in there. So if you take out your card kit, you have got a beautiful die cut from the Traditions of Christmas paper. And so there's 2 sheets in there that have these beautiful flowers, and I tried to give you 2 different colors. They came in Pool Party, red, and then pink and red. Yeah, here's the Pool Party one. So I tried to give you 2 of the 3, and this also, Traditions of Christmas, has a craft class that you can purchase, and I did purchase that. So I have just got, when this came back into stock, a whole nother package of this paper because I do plan to do the craft class. That is sitting in my email waiting for me to make some fun projects with it. So I'll have to share those with you when I get them made. All right, the only thing about these little die cuts, Merry Christmas, is that for some odd reason, the capital letter, the first letter, is not attached. It's the oddest thing. I don't know why they did it that way. So that'll be a little tricky. You should have 3 pretty embellishments, and I think I have one hiding somewhere. There it is. Looks like I took these from the Cheers and Sips. They're sparkly pink and gold, which I thought went beautifully with this. All right, so we're gonna move this aside. You can see that I used that wreath embossing folder to emboss your, this is gonna be the focal point in the middle of that pretty embossed wreath. And so, feels like I already burnished this one, but I'm gonna make sure. All right, so here's our card base. And we're gonna pop up our, all right, so I'm gonna attach this down first. We're gonna just work from the bottom up. So first I'm gonna get my liquid glue, and I'm going to put that pretty white embossed sheet down. I don't think it has an up or down. And this is not a circle. It's not an exact circle either. It's not like right in the middle. But wreaths are never perfect, right? They're made out of greens, and they're never going to be perfectly symmetrical, so I kind of like that. This has very delicate edging when it gets die cut. So be careful kind of when you're handling it. I'm going to glue that right down to the card front, and then I'm going to turn this pretty bouquet over, and I'm going to use dimensionals on the back of that. So I want that pretty bouquet to pop up a little bit. All right. How we doing? Give me a hello if you haven't said hi yet. Tell me who's watching and where you're watching from, and if you're crafting along or just taking a peek. We are doing 10 cards tonight, plus I'm going to demonstrate 4 more that the kits did not go out for, but that you can easily replicate at home. All right, now is going to be a good time for me to pull out that. Also have the fine tip glue pen. I haven't used this for so long, I'm not sure if my glue is still flowing. The thing about, yeah, I'm not even going to take that off. The thing about that tip is it is so tiny. It easily gets gunked up, and then I gotta figure out how to soak it. And so I'm going to put the little teeniest bit of glue on here. A couple of tricks if you don't have like a fine tip glue pen like this. I should probably demonstrate. Okay, I will put this down, and then I will get out my silicone mat. Find it, there it is. Okay, Stampin' Up sells these little silicone mats, which are actually great for gluing because the adhesive doesn't stick. It will rub right off. So another thing you can do is, if you don't have one of these fancy little guys, so it's like a 12 pack because I taught a really big Christmas class once. Put a little glue down on some wax paper or your glass studio if you have that. And then I have one sticky sponge dauber that's just for gluing. And so what you can do is you can pick up a little glue with that sponge dauber and then just dot the back of it. And that way you don't get too much. And then I go drop it in it. Beautiful. Don't get too much glue on it. Crash right in the mud puddle of glue. All right, so that is another good trick. Pick up that glue with your sponge dauber. Try not to put it back where you've already glued, because then it will pick some up on the front. I don't put too big of a puddle on here because if I don't use it all, it gets dry pretty quick. But that is one other. Oh, this does dry fast, so it stuck to my words and almost tore them. All right. Oh, okay. Where's my Merry Christmas gonna go? I really should have been careful with how low I wonder if I can lift this ever so gently. Oh, looks like my Stampin' Dimensionals are going to lift if I'm super gentle. All right. I didn't want that running into my Merry Christmas. So I moved it up a little bit. Sorry about that. Hope yours isn't down too far. Okay, I'm going back to my fine tip glue bottle for the C. All right. Not too bad, huh? Merry Christmas. All right, the only thing is you gotta wash this out before it gets too dry, so I'll do that right when we're done. Soak it a little bit if I have to. And then the glue just rubs off. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Because silicone, nothing sticks to it, right? Got silicone baking sheets and muffin cups and stuff like that. So, all right. There we go. Oh, that reminds me. We got our little gems here. Here's one of them, and here's the other two. Okay, so get my take your pick again. Okay. So then we just want to kind of put some pretty gems on here to add a little extra sparkle. There are dots in the wreath pattern, so that's what I'm doing, is I'm just finding some of those little dots, putting them on there. Same spots that there are already dots. All right. I'm going to put my silicone mat away for now. All right, there's one. Shouldn't take us long to do that second one. Same process. This one's got the blue sparkle sequins. Okay. So you can see, once you run, you know, you could run 10 of these card bases through your embossing folder quick. Crank out a few of these labels. Cutting the bouquets out did take a little bit of patience, but there is a die that cuts these. So it really wasn't bad. Grab to my mini glue dots now. Doesn't matter, they work perfectly, right? All right, so has anybody already made lots and lots of Christmas cards? Are these your first ones? Are these your last ones? Kind of curious. Pop a comment in if you have a second in between. I made a bunch with my sister Lisa and Caroline when they were here for our big crafting weekend, but of course not nearly enough, so I'll have 20 more after this class, the 10 we're making tonight and the 10 that I made when I designed them to figure out what we'd be doing tonight. So that gives me a good start. We are going to be leaving for Colombia, South America before Christmas this year and not returning until the Epiphany. So I am just putting up a very few Christmas decorations this year. I don't even think we're doing the tree. There was a little tiny eye, dot on the eye. I just found mine, just fell out of my envelope. So not sure you're going to find yours somewhere in there or not. But I did include it. I tried to anyway. And I'm not sure you want to mess with it because, wow, it's not the easiest thing to get a teeny tiny bit of glue on and get it to stick. I don't know if anybody will notice whether the eye is dotted, or you can use one of your pretty gems to be the eye, the dot on the eye. Let's put that right there, tucking it around. Now this time I got it a little high, but we're gonna make it work. All right, we doing? It's almost 7, so we have made 5 cards, so we're halfway through. That should work. Okay, we're gonna do this pretty sequin, another one here, one over here, and there we go. Merry Christmas. I like the slight difference in the colors. Envelopes inside, and the cards that I designed with these in mind actually used the traditional labels dies. So I used the Season's Greetings, and this one I just used the single die, and then I thought, well, if you wanted to step it up, you could get a little fancier and you could put another layer behind, and you could die cut that twice. And so I've got the ribbon behind, and then I just die cut the Season's Greetings. I just snipped it out here and here, and just to show how you can step it up just a little bit, but very similar. So there we go with our second and or fourth and fifth card. Next, we are going to just keep moving right along. And I don't know if this is the one I had next on the list or not, but it's the one I'm going to do. So this one uses the soft sea foam, and it also has that 3D wreath embossing folder. And I did say it was optional for this one to, if you wanted to give it a try. I'm going to demonstrate how you can use a blending brush to step this project up just a little bit. So this one was really not a Stamp-A-Stack. This one took some time. I had to do, as you can see, quite a bit of die cutting. So we do have a sentiment from the Greetings for You Mix and Match ephemera pack, and I keep them in these stamp cases. So I have lots and lots of them left still, even though I sent out many of them in the mail. I tried to pick some that would fit. There's another Marion Bright. Yeah, I didn't want them to be too huge because I included this from the traditional labels dies. So I wanted it to fit on there. And these actually are stickers. So they seem really thick, and that's because they do have a lining on the back that you can peel off, and then you don't even need an adhesive. You can stick it right on. So while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to get that one on my label. You also will need to put together the little bow. It is one die that cuts all 3 pieces. And turn this over so it's not quite as distracting. So there's one more tiny piece in here, I hope. It's a little red centerpiece for the bow. Please show up. Nope, it's not showing up. All right, so it's either Oh, there it is. Either still in the envelope or fell out somewhere. All right, so this is going to be some delicate gluing again. What I did is put a little dab of glue, whoops, right on the center there, and then take the bow and hold it down for just a minute, a few seconds. Let that glue get tacky, and then you can put another dot of glue in the center, and then that is supposed to be the knot on the bow, on the ribbon. There we go, and we're gonna set that aside to let that dry. So we've got 2 of the things assembled. And then you have 3 of the pine sprigs. And you've got, 3. You should have 2 hollies and 3 holly berries. And then you should have 3 of the sparkly sequins again. And you've got the card base. So, oops, I got crunched a little bit. I have a Carlson cutter that I can put like up to 8 sheets in, and then it has a rotary cutter that I run back and forth, and if I'm not careful, sometimes some of the layers that have been cut will shift and get caught when I run it again, so I have to be super careful. So hopefully yours isn't like that. Hopefully I kept that one for myself. Sorry if it got a little nicked up. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this embossed layer on the card front. And I'm putting it so that the semicircle is on the left. So this side is open. The right side is open. We're going to build the wreath here. Okay. All right. And I would suggest that you start at the top, and we're going to layer these from top to bottom. That way it covers up, and on the last one, you can use your shorter one if you have a shorter one, or you can just snip off that little tail. Okay, so once again, you can either use your sponge dauber with a little puddle of glue, or a fine tip glue bottle, your liquid glue. But you want to get a little glue on a whole bunch of those little parts of the branches and start at the top left corner. And then we're going to layer the next one on. So we want it to kind of look like part of the wreath is off the page, so we're just catching part of the wreath. Okay, this one's going to go in the middle, so it's going to kind of, come up, and then this one is going to make it full over here. Okay, so then we're going to put layer 3 on. Trying to watch for comments or questions. Let me know how you're doing. Lisa, what were you up to earlier? Thank you for joining us. We're on our 3rd card, so of course you can jump on and catch the replay later. Okay, I'm just going to snip this little last one off. I don't really want that there. All right, so we've got these guys on there, and then we're going to have 2 holly leaves somewhere. Excuse me. So kind of decide where you want those. I would maybe lay these on before gluing them. There's 3 little berries, which might be, I might pull out my glue dots to put those on. because they look like they're going to be a pain. And then we're going to have our Merry and Bright somewhere, and probably popped up on this side with a dimensional and glued on that side. And then we've got our little bow on our wreath. So I think maybe I'll do mine like that, and then I'll put my pretty doodads on. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is put these holly leaves on. Now, you might want your bow, maybe you want your bow like right here as part of this. Maybe you want it coming off of the corner of that. I don't know. Like, play around and see how you like the card, because card making is a very personal thing. Like, art is very individual and personal, so they don't all have to look like mine. You will make each card your own, I am assuming, to some extent. All right, and then I'm gonna take these little berries and, oop, I'll try to take them. Now pop them on my string of my little roll of glue dots, because that is going to be the easiest way. Super easy compared to glue sticking. Hey Julie, glad you made it. Awesome. Did I start too early tonight, guys? I'm sorry. I know it's a busy season and people are shopping and watching football and doing all kinds of things. So thank you for joining me, taking time out of your busy day. I hope you all got the email with all of the supplies and measurements so that you can recreate these card ideas, maybe if you don't have all of your holiday cards done. All right, so I glued this side that's already got 2 or 3 layers of cardstock, and I popped this side up on a dimensional, mini dimensional, and we're gonna put these pretty sparkle sequins on here, here, and here. Oh, and then my bow just moved and reminded me that needs to be secured too. So let me get another glue dot for that, I think. Perfect. Oops. What I like about these glue dots, I mean, I most often use the leftover ones from paper pumpkins, but the real ones on the roll are super, super sticky, right? So they really are good for gluing down ribbon or little doodads like this. So, all right, there is Merry and Bright number 1. So we are just going to repeat that process with number 2. Pretty much all the same things, except I have green sequins in this one instead of, you should have seen me. Oh, there's that little extra holly berry in my little bow knot. Oh, I thought I'd never finish die cutting this set. Oh, for this one, I was going to show you if you wanted to, let's see, I think I'm going to use the messy side, use that stamp pad and blending brush for the wreath. It might add a little extra depth. So all of the die cuts for this card are from the Christmas Greenery dies. This is also the set I used to cut that pretty bouquet right out of the Traditions of Christmas paper. And it has, oh, Trying to think if the holly is from this too. I think it is. Yes, it is. And so are all of these guys, and so are all the pieces of the bow. This is from the other half of this mega suite, the Traditions of Christmas labels, traditional labels dies. All right, so I am bringing in Garden Green, which is and then we're using this is the traditional wreath. It's a 3D folder, so one of the thicker ones. These are Color Buddies, Soft Sea Foam and Garden Green. Okay, so I'm just picking up gently, rubbing this blending brush over the surface. I'm going to start off of the paper so I don't get a really big glob, and I'm using very light pressure because I want this to be kind of subtle, but I think it might add some depth. I just think blending is, it's also great when you have a clean and simple card that has like mostly white, and then you just take a little Pool Party or Balmy Blue or Soft Sea Foam or Bubble Bath to make a little, you know, spotlight of color. And then, you know, you might place flowers or die cuts or something, but doesn't that really bring that out? And so then what we can do, now I'm pressing harder because I don't have much ink left in this, but yeah, so there we go. So that was my idea for stepping this one up a little bit, is adding a little bit of depth with the blending brush, and then everything else is going to be the same. So we're going to start at the top again with the first little pine sprig. I think I actually attached it to my card base the last time. I don't know that it matters a lot, although it does just, you know, not get glue on your desk if you end up getting too close to the edge. All right, and this one, once again, I want to snip off that little tail because I just want this to go right down to the corner, maybe out this way a little bit. So it's a little bit of a spray. Covers up most of that blending, but it's a little added something. I like to show you guys little ideas for changing things up and stepping things up a little bit, so thought I'd give it a try. There. Okay, we got our sprigs on. I think I'm going to attach that to the card front and then build my little bow. Again, hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving. And I heard Wisconsin also got snow, maybe more than we did. We got about 4.6 inches according to my weather app. So I don't know, how much did you guys get? Did you get buried or just a little, or how's your neck of the woods? I know the kids were thrilled to be able to get the sleds out and build some snowmen and go sledding and stuff. So my granddaughter sent some videos today of them sledding. Always a fun first snow of the winter.
All right, I got a Marion Bright again. I think I tried to give you two different sentiments, but I gave myself the same. All right, Marion Bright. There we go. And brought in my scrap paper again for my glue, so I don't get glue on my workspace, tabletop. Although I already got ink all over it, as you can see. It has red ink on it. Smudge, smudge. I don't know if that's going to clean up or not. Oh well. I should have had my glass mat out today. But sometimes I don't like to use that when I'm taping because of the glare off the glass. I almost always have it down when I'm crafting, but when I'm taping, I figure that might be a little glaring to have to look at my lights shining off of it. So I don't have it out tonight. And now I wish I did, because everything wipes right off of that. Don't get stains on the Glass Mat Studio, which is, I think, still available because Lisa says they got about 8 inches. How fun. Did the guys have any success with hunting this year, Lise? How much more venison are you going to have processed? The snow, I know the hunters like the snow. Hopefully it didn't all come too late. All right, I'm going to pop up the right side of this again for my little sentiment. All right. There we go, Marion Bright. My little bow. Put another glue dot on that bow. That seemed to work pretty good. I kind of like it down here more. Just spreads everything out. Uh-oh. Just got glue on my fingies. You know what I do then? I take out my Simply chamois, clean it up. Otherwise, I'm sticking to everything. I've got glitter, so I can tell I have glue on my fingers. $4. Wow. How fun. Success. That is awesome. We have a 3-year-old buck that wanders through our neighborhood. He's getting pretty big. He's got like 10 points now. I think he survived though, because I don't think anybody can hunt in the middle of our subdivision. All right, there we go. There is our soft sea foam Christmas greenery Merry and Bright cards. And this one has a little, I guess I could have gotten a little wilder with that blending, but do you see a difference? This card does look brighter to me. This one looks a little pale, so I think it does add a little something. So it was an idea I had and I hadn't really tried it yet, so there we go. These are my ones that, oh, you might have got from our house to yours. And here's one that I put the bow a little closer, and then I put my sequins in different places. So hopefully you enjoyed making those two. So we've got 7 of the cards done now. And we are moving on to our modern Christmas. So this is the black and gold. All right, I've got stuff everywhere here, and I wish my phone is blocking my light. Okay, that's probably worse. Oh well, it is what it is. I need to take a class and figure out how to do some better videoing with a streaming service, but have not invested the time to figure that all out yet. Okay, so we are using the Ornamental Christmas bundle and the Modern Christmas paper, and this was an online exclusive. It's still available as far as I know, and I've made 4 or 5 different kinds of cards now from this, so I got through. I don't have much of this paper left. Just 3 sheets, 3 partial sheets, and some scraps. So, but I pulled out my Snowflake Sky 3D embossing folder, and this is another clean and simple one with a white card base and a white mat that's embossed like this. And I used the circle punches. So here are the punches I used. The 2-inch, 2 1/4, and 2 3/8. And what I did was I punched out circles of the designer series paper, and then I used the 2-pack black and white and gold baker's twine that comes with this suite. And voila. So, another very easy to replicate. You can use any pretty paper in your circle punches to do this kind of a design. I've done it for all different holidays and times of the year, and I thought it would be kind of fun to do it this time for Christmas. And then I used, instead of just putting a little piece of white in there where you had to stamp something, I used the Joy. I'm trying to think of what set. I think the Joy is in the Holly, the Jolly Holly. Yeah. There is a die in the Jolly Holly bundle that you can stamp this and then cut it out. But I just used the die with foil. I did not stamp it. So that is from the Jolly Holly, and I'm not sure I said that in, I'm not sure I remembered to put that. I know I put the circles, the measurements for those and stuff, but in your directions, you might want to write on those that the Jolly Holly is where I got the Joy, if that's something that you would be interested in ordering or looking for or using again. All right, so for this one, like I said, pretty simple. We're going to burnish the card base. We're going to add here our embossed mat. Now, you can decide if it's snowing really hard and then getting lighter, or if the snow is falling and piling up at the bottom. So I always think it's supposed to be lighter in the sky and then getting compacted as it falls to earth, but you can do it the way you want. And then we're going to take these circles and we're going to layer them on the card front, and we're going to adhere. Everybody got, I just punched out, so you should have 2 different sets of trees from one of the sheets of paper in there. They had these pretty, whoa, tree groupings. And so that is the 2" and 2 1/4, and these are the 2 3/8 inch circles. Okay, and then we'll use use your liquid glue or your whatever your favorite kind of adhesive is. Liquid glue, tape runner. Just pop these down. Kind of stagger them a little. I'm putting the bottom one closer to the edge. This one closer to the middle, and then this one's going to go over here, and I'm going to pop up the gold with the tree grouping on it. So I'm going to put that on dimensionals. Oh, there's going to be dimensional backings all over the floor. Wing, wing, wing. Boom. All right, and then I'm going to get my glue dots again. Now, I may have tied your bow, or I may have just measured it and popped the ribbon in there, so you might need a minute to tie your bow. So, glue dots, there you are. Stuff's getting lost on my desk with all these projects. Are you guys a messy crafter, or are you super organized? I try to put stuff back like as I go. So, you know, my scissors is always about the same place. My glue has a spot. I have this little organizer at the top of my desk where my phone folder goes, and my snips go, and my little poker tool. And my dimensionals have a little spot, so it's just a little acrylic holder. All right, now I'm going to have to snip some teeny tiny pieces for the joy. So what I do is I just take the edge, maybe I'll go this way, and cut in and do some really narrow little pieces. And then I just put 2 or 3 of those on the different letters. So that usually works pretty good. Just want to pop up the joy a little bit. Or you can cut the mini ones, like for the O here. I could just maybe snip this one in half. Yep, that'll work out pretty good right there. And it's a matter of just getting it to stick where you want it to. And peeling off the backing. All right, I have this super, super old piercing tool from when we had a little piercing mat. It's all frayed. It's falling apart. It's just a little smaller and quicker than the Take Your Pick tool, but thank goodness they have the Take Your Pick tool now that has several of these little pokers and the different ends. Okay, and then I'm just going to put this joy right around here. And then you should have some iridescent rhinestone jewels. And just place those around to add a little extra sparkle, a little extra snowflakes. And there we have it. Ah, I could have put one right on the J there. Now, I found on the floor under my desk a little cluster of these. Here they are. So if you didn't get gems in one of your cards, please let me know. I will mail them to you. If it's you, if one of yours doesn't have the gems, please let me know. Because I don't know if they fell on the floor and somebody didn't get them, or if they just fell on the floor and never got counted. I'm always worried somebody didn't get something they needed, and I'm so sorry if that happened to you. All right, so there is card number 1. I didn't even make it upside down. How about that? Woohoo! It's a good night. Crazy things sometimes. Stuff gets mixed up in the middle of all the stuff. Okay, put that envelope in there and grab number 2. And bone folder. See, when you put things back, then you gotta go look for them again. All right. So my team is called the Lasting Paper Hugs, and some of you last year, maybe it was like last Christmas, I had Maggie Mata engrave these Stampin' Up bone folders. So I do have lots of new team members, and I do have a pile of gifts, welcome gifts for you on the shelf behind me, waiting for me to get to them and get them in the mail to you. So I guess even though you joined in October, you will be getting some Christmas gifts soon. I know that is like next on my priority list. I just needed to get through creating all these kits for you, and then Thanksgiving. We were invited to Thanksgiving, Friendsgiving with the kids, and I made 3 different kinds of sourdough rolls. So those were a lot of yum. And of course, all the other fixins. Everybody brought several things, and we had like 7 families. So it was a very, very nice Thanksgiving. I hope all of you had a lovely weekend. Thank you for wrapping it up with me here. I know it's been a busy one, and this is a busy time of the year, and that's why I do not do a class in December. But I already have my pre-order in the house, and oh my gosh, I got like 3 sweets that I'm super excited about. One is Valentine's, so January, my first class of the year, will definitely have some Valentines, so you can get them done in January and all ready to send out at the beginning of February. It seems like the mail takes longer and longer these days. I have a friend in Chicago who has not gotten my last 3 cards. I keep getting them returned. It's ridiculous. And she has gone to the post office, and they tell her it's like they have temporary people delivering mail. I don't know if they're having trouble finding somebody for that route or what, but it has just been ridiculous. She's been missing mail from, she sent me a picture today of a card she thought she successfully got from a friend that lived in Wisconsin. And then she opened the envelope, and inside was another envelope with the return to sender that I've gotten on the last 2 cards, and she still hasn't gotten my Thanksgiving card, so I'm sure that's on its way back to me too. So, oh boy, we do our best to send paper hugs and hope they get there. All right, just need my joy and my bling, and then we are done with another one. Okay, a couple little Need a couple little edges. Where did I put my... way over here. All right. It's like, where did those dimensionals go? All right, we just have one more card after these two, I believe. And then, if you can't stay, tune back in and zoom to the end, because I am going to show a another very cool technique that makes 4 cards at once. And it's something I don't know if I've ever tried it. I know I've been interested in trying it, but it might be my first time that I actually did it. And I really love how it turned out. So I want you to try it too, but if you can't invest the time tonight, I understand. Come back some other time and watch the replay. What is my... All right. Putting my joy on. Did I take all the backing off? Not this one. Missed one. All right. Well, thank you again for joining me, whether it is live or on the replay. I appreciate each and every one of you who had ordered the Cards to Go kits, and especially those of you who join me all year long and have done it many, many times. This one had more cards for the same price just because I wanted to thank you, and I hope you enjoyed the little Christmas gifties too. I had fun planning that out and ordering little gifts. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you do enjoy. The hot cocoa and the Marshies are peppermint flavored. And take some time to pamper yourself over the holidays and enjoy the face mask, please. All right, so, wow, why are those upside down? This is driving me nuts. All right, there we go. Those are our next 2 cards. Here is the one that I had made ahead of time. Pretty much the same. And the last card is a little different technique yet. It's a different layout anyway, and it used circle punches again. So this time I have my 1.5 and 1 3/4 circle punches. And you know, punches are one Stampin' Up thing that I just hold on to. I don't care whether they retire them or not. You use them for so many things. Whether it's using different sizes to create a snowman, a little paper crafting project, or something else. And I did also pop in greetings for all mix and match. There are quite a few Christmas and happy holiday ones in here. So again, if you don't want a stamp for this one, you can use the greeting that's in there. I used the beautiful Peaceful Garden paper. This one also is... I've used it for quite a few projects. I did take a class with this that demonstrators were able to do on a pre-order. And so I made a little box and a cool card with a little pull-out. You may have remembered these. And this is a gatefold card with beautiful ribbon and the embossing folder and everything. So I have used this paper quite a bit, and it came with the suite, came with this beautiful Peaceful Garden glimmer paper. So I used the Secret C. I punched a little circle out of that for your kind of your background for your sentiment. And then For your embellishments, they come in the suite. It's the hues of blue flowers. So you should find those in your envelope too. All right, so, and this beautiful ribbon that's part of the suite. This is the Misty Moonlight silver edged ribbon, and it has it in 4 different languages. So what I often do for myself, because takes forever to figure out which one you're supposed to be reading. Silver edged ribbon in Misty Moonlight. There we go. Now I can find it faster when I'm trying to figure out what that is. Okay, so we have a cloud cover card base, and then we've got this beautiful paper and the glimmer paper and the ribbon and that little saying from the ephemera pack. And this is another super easy layout. So what we're doing here is taking 2 pieces of paper, and sometimes it works that you just cut the piece of paper and flip it over, but I think I used 2 different patterns. So this is 3.5 by 4 3/4. And then if you cut it and flip it, sometimes that works, but actually, instead of this one, I used this one. So I used 2 different patterns, and I did give you the measurements for those in your email that has the Word document with all the measurements. And this one leaves a little bit of a bigger border around, and then we're just going to put, we're going to use this ribbon behind the sparkle paper again, and we're going to put on the little saying, and we're going to put on the pretty gems, and that's it. So again, I wanted all of these card designs to be easy to replicate, so that you can make multiple holiday cards with ease. But yet, I think with the beautiful papers that Stampin' Up! Has, every single one is just beautiful. I mean, they don't look like, you know, you were just whipping them together and not taking time, because each one of them has been special. We either have specialty designer series paper or this specialty glitter paper. We've got all the pretty little gems to make it extra special. So a little something something on each one. I hope that you enjoy them. I hope you have liked what we have made. All right, so I am going to make this one look a little bit more like a bow. There we go. And then pop it up. So back to my dimensionals. Catch the edge of that ribbon and catch the edge of that ribbon, and then it should stay in place fairly well. You can put it, you know, if you don't want to cover up the pretty birds, you can put it up a little higher. If you have 2 sets of birds, you can put it right in the middle, because the way the paper cut, it's like half of them had 3 birds and half of them had 2 pairs of birds. And these are not, so this ephemera pack is going to need some glue. It's not, just dropped it on my mat. That up. Okay. It's a glary glass mat next time, guys, because I am just making a mess tonight without, oh well. I got red ink, I got glue. What are you gonna do? Okay, and you could pop this up on dimensionals too. I maybe should have done that. But since I use dimensionals behind the glimmer paper, I wasn't sure I wanted to do that. Let's see if that'll stick to the glimmer paper. 1, 2, 3. All right. So let's see what my next one looks like. Oh, I just love these, all these blues together. So pretty. I like blues and purples. I like regal colors. These colors just speak to me. Okay, do the same thing again in short order. Oh, no, you only have one of these. All right, so here's what I mean about, yeah, you don't have 2 of these because I promised 10 cards, and that is number 10. But it's just maybe gonna show you how you can mix this one up a little bit. Anyway, this one has the Happy Christmas, and this one has blue flowers and just the 2 birds. So I would put this one right in between those. All right, we won't make that because you didn't get 2 of those, but that's what it looks like. But I will show you, here's the one we made. And I did, after I cut all these and made these for you, sorry about my arm, I also used some of the Traditions of Christmas paper. And here are some other ones that I made. And the measurements are exactly the same, but I used this designer series paper, and then of course I just picked up the colors that, this one I used the Peaceful Garden embossing folder. So I put the designer, only 1 piece of designer series paper, and this is retired, it's sparkly, real thin sheer ribbon. This one uses that little bow we used from the Christmas greenery. So several of them use the bows. This one has sparkles, this one doesn't. It's already pretty sparkly. This one uses the, these are from the Snowflake Pines suite. They are little snowflakes. And I didn't have enough of those to include those in everybody's, but they sure are pretty. So there is the same layout in a different color scheme. Let's see, these all have mats. Here's one that's just this exact same layout with just the designer series paper, the mat, and the card base. And then the circle with the sentiment and the ribbon and the little gems. These are long retired red rhinestones. You might have some of those in your collection if you've been with Stampin' Up! A while. So I just kind of ad-libbed and used some retired ribbons and things just to let you see what it looks like. And this idea came from earlier in summer. I had used this designer series paper, and I thought that would be a great Christmas Stamp-A-Stack design because it's very simple and easy to replicate. So sometimes I case myself. I probably cased this from somebody else or a card sketch that was shared, and you can see how different it looks. Same layout. 3 different papers can look quite a bit different. All right, so for our bonus project tonight, I understand if you have to go, but if you're still hanging in there with me and you want to take a peek at it, I Well, let's bring out all the cards we made quick before we do that. So here is number 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, oh, not exactly in that order, 3, 2, what am I missing? I'm missing, no, I got these. Oh, our green, our soft seafoam wreaths. All right, there we go. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. Whoops, kind of not all in the picture there, but there we go. Lift you up a little bit. How about that? There we go. Is that better? Crazy. Crazy, crazy. All right. So, again, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I will be demonstrating one other technique, which uses one sheet of white paper and you'll need 2 additional sheets of paper for card bases. And I am using Cherry Cobbler and Secret Sea. And I am using the Christmas Greenery stamp set. And then, because I'm using super dark colors, there's card inserts. And we can cut and fold those later. But first thing I'm going to do is pull out this stamp. And then these are all going to be used also. And what I'm going to do is I am going to be taking this one sheet and stamping it and making kind of like a collage, and then coloring it and cutting it to make 4 different cards out of this one sheet. Okay, so I'm going to use my Memento Tuxedo Black. And because this is a big stamp, I'm going to turn it over this way. And I'm going to mainly use this image. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp from top to bottom and then from left and right across the middle. So I'm going to stamp this image multiple times. Just kind of layer them next to each other. There we go. And this is a line image, but the stamp set does come with stamps that fill in the flowers and the leaves. So it's kind of cool because you don't have to actually color any of it. You could, if you wanted, use like Stampin' Blends, but usually for this technique, you use a stamp set that has multiple images that you don't have to color. So I had listed some, and I thought for fall this would be a good set because you've got the acorns, the little berries, the different kinds of leaves, the mushroom, and then these background stamps. So this set would work really, really well for this same technique if you wanted to make a fall card. But I am making a set of holiday cards. So, oops, that sticky note popped out of somewhere. I just want to get it out of the way. All right, looks like I could ink up this stamp pad again, re-ink it, because it is a fine lined stamp though. All right, so we're going to start with that and bring in my very old half of a Stampin' Scrub. I have another one in my drawer that I use when I have card classes, but this one I keep right on my desktop to quickly clean stamps each time I use them. All right, so now the cool thing about this stamp set is, like I said, let's see, we're gonna make these you gotta figure out one of these is cut out. There it is. This little flower has a little cutout, and then it perfectly fits over that. So I'm going to get a smaller, boop. Okay, this out of the way. All right, so now I can color in my poinsettias. Hopefully I don't get my head in the screen here. There we go. There's several of them, so just got to line it up for each time. And that is so cool that it's a quick way of coloring in the images. All right, so this takes a little more time than the set that I was just showing you. Oops, that one is kind of off kilter. There we go. I just kind of partially stamped it. Okay, I think this. All right, so there are also these, this stamp for these flowers and this stamp for these flowers, but you get the idea. And then I added the berries. They do have the greenery, so you can use, I think I used no, lemon lime twist, it looks like, for, oops, burying things. All right, let me grab just do a couple of these, and then I will pull out, show you how it all comes together. Okay, so you can see this does go fairly quick. The way you, just lining up those poinsettias was a little trickier. But this goes pretty quick. And if you don't get it perfect, you just stamp it again. But what you're doing is you're creating a collage. And then you take the paper on your trimmers, and you cut it down the middle at 4 1/4, and then this way at 5 1/2, and you get 4 cards. Looks like that came from there. And then I used the Merry Christmas is from the Ornamental Christmas stamp set. Okay, you can see that this is 3/4 of it, and then this one was here. Okay, and so you trim a little bit, a little bit off of the very outside, so it's smaller than the card base. And you can see how I used all of those images. I used this little one just to kind of create more going on in the card. And you have this white space here, which is where you put your big sentiment. And so isn't that a fun way to do 4 cards very quickly? Just 1 sheet of white paper and 2 sheets of cardstock to make 4 card bases. Here is another example, just with the greenery. So for this one, I used upcoming set, Nature's Symphony. I used some of the images from there, and then the textured notes, which is still current. I used some of the greenery from here. And then Elements of Text, which was on the last chance, and I'm not sure if it's sold out or not, but I used the Paint Splash and this image from here. And then what I could do is cut this, and then, you know, this could be an all occasion greeting here, because, or a masculine, like a big happy birthday. I tried to pick colors that were nice and earthy and neutral. So these would make nice masculine cards. So thank you, Julie. Thank you, Linda. All right. Thank you, Patty. Thank you, Lisa. Glad you guys all could join. I know Sherry's going to tune in when she's home safe. Hope that gave you some ideas for holiday card making that you can use this year and in the future. You can keep that sheet with the measurements, and I will have a little fun continuing this one. I'm going to get my bubble bath and my pool party out for the rest of the flowers. I have, I have a little pretty peacock or shaded spruce I could use for the little spruce things. And then my sentiment is in Secret C because that stands out really nice. So, all right, that is all for tonight and for 2025. I cannot wait to see you in the new year. I hope everybody has a wonderful holiday season. Stay safe, enjoy family time, have a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and I will be in touch. Let me turn you up here. All right, I gotta say goodbye. So thank you very much. If you hung in there all the way to the end, or if you're just catching me now, you can go back. We made 10 different cards, plus I showed a technique to make 4 additional ones with supplies you have right in your craft space. So very Merry Christmas to everybody. Signing off, Kathy's Creative Impressions, Kathy Schreckenthaler. Hope you have a wonderful holiday season. Bye now.